Hey guys, welcome back to the CNJ show, and I got my favorite ginger juice here and my sister Nick, and we hope that you guys are having a good day today. Let's get into this video. Now, we're going to be talking about Naziah Harris and this whole thing that is going around that, hey, Jarvis didn't tell one of his inmate people that, hey, I didn't do this. It was Shannon. I don't bit more believe that, and Marc, walking in the house said, okay, you see it pull up, I'm here. And now, the twin sister, here it is, Makita, she didn't, her boyfriend is, he's saying that's it. And he's didn't call these people and everybody is saying everything. And Shannon, the things she said online ain't matching with the things that she's saying right now. But anyways, things are going to happen and they are eventually there. These things are coming out and I'm so glad. Now listen, guys, if you have time to hear and listen and talk about this, we're going to talk about it, and we will too be going live too, because I would love to honestly hear some of you in real life form talking about this and what you have to say, because I look at the comments and so many people make so many good valid points. Even if it's a negative, it's kind of like a good point somewhere down the line that they're making. And some people just really are making good points here, and I have to say it in the comments. They are. Now listen, we're going to get into this and we're going to talk about this thing. So now first, this is what I want to say, okay? I know that this story it's just going all everywhere, right? But one thing I don't want us to do as people, because I feel like this happened with Kenneka Jenkins. That case had me so torn apart with Kenneka, thinking like, dang, how did this girl go to a party and now it's made to believe like your friends is nothing, okay? They backstabbed you, they did this, and now you're in this ring with this, and you're found in this refrigerator. And regardless of what truly happened, the only images that we see is the images of her walking in a hallway, and that's it. We don't get nothing else. Walking in the hallway, walking in the kitchen, and we're left with so many different answers as to, well, why was this, what this person was doing, and who got the keys, and blah, blah, blah. And then it just started to be so many different people saying so many different things. I don't know if these people just said, you know what, listen, since they think they know everything, let's just drop the whole case and let's just go from here, because there's nothing we can prove. We just don't know. It was a mistake. And we know that these mistakes like that do not happen. That it wasn't a mistake, okay? And I just don't want us, even though we know with this one is a trial coming in March, and basically Jarvis, he basically signed his own papers with this one. And I thank God that he did. Being so slick and so nasty, the nasty man that he is, you want to do grown up things, but you want to do it with little kids, which is crazy. I don't understand that behavior, sir. And it's crazy to me to have that type of mindset that you have. You don't care. It's just like something. I would love for him to sit down and really do a documentary, because I would really like to go and examine his brain cells to see how he think. We down to a 4-year-old. Something is really wrong with you. But anyways, anywho and anyhow. And I just don't want us to get off track and everybody's saying so many different things to where, it's like, before we know it, we end up missing the whole point of this all. And that's justice for Naziah, because we're looking at Roxy was being the better relative, supposedly. We're looking at Marc being in this sense whenever. And so now he's, making an appearance, and he's supposed to be, whatever. And then we're looking at Shannon behind, who just know what we want to all do to her and her grandma. and stuff like that. And now the boyfriend, he's talking now while they sitting in the room. Ain't that something? Could you imagine somebody's in the room and they just literally just sitting up there yelling? I mean, they're in the other room now, for real. I mean, I'll be straight. I may have somebody. Let me just walk out here and I'll show you. They right there. And then they not going to say nothing, like they ain't saying nothing. It was just the weirdest. It was just the weirdest thing. I've never really seen that happen before. But anyways, let's get into this video. Okay, now first, guys, before we get into this, I really did want to go into the behaviors of Shannon and Marquita. I wanted to really seriously talk about this with the whole location type of a thing before we go deep. If you guys got time, okay? If I don't know anything at all, one thing that I do to know, and this is a fact from having twins, okay? My girls just turned 15 in December, okay? They're not identical twins. They're mirror images. They're called the mirror images of twins, where you look at one, and then if you see another one, you'll be like, well, didn't I just see you? And it kind of like fool people. That's their type, okay? Now, I had my daughters, and while they were in my womb, they would hold hands with each other. They would hug each other. They were so close. When I had them and had to go to the NICU, my babies was in there for 2 weeks, and I thank God that God is a way maker. He's just everything. And I don't know, I just know him. You got to know God personally for yourself in a lot of situations, and I thank him. I had my babies, and they wasn't deformed. They didn't have any sicknesses, no illnesses, no nothing. They were just in there to get, to gain their weight. And here it is. They couldn't even be separated in the NICU. They still had to be connected side by side with each other. And I did not understand that. And neither did the nurses. And we couldn't understand it. If my daughter, and it was the craziest thing, I walk in there, and once you're going inside of the NICU, for anybody that ever been or had a child had to go in the NICU, you have to be very sterile, child. You have to. You got to wash your hands 2 and 3 times. They put you on all this different stuff, and because the babies can easily get sick and things. And my one daughter was right here, and then the other one could be like in the same room, but kind of like in a corner. That wasn't working for them. They didn't operate right for some reason. And then they put them together, and everything, they started just like, okay, yeah, now this one is going to eat, but the other one, they didn't want to eat if they wasn't next to each other. They didn't want to even do so. They had to keep them close by each other. Like, that's how they was functioning. And I did not understand that. And as they got older, and the time they turned like 10 months or so, they began to stand up. And this always happened at night. They would stand up. They had their little beds beside each other. They'll stand up in their bed, and they'll be holding each other's hands. Or they'll stand up and they get up out their bed, and they'll be just hugging each other. And it used to always, I'm like, oh my God, child, what's wrong with y'all girls? Y'all scaring the crap out of me. What's going on? Because I didn't understand. And if not, one would always get out of the bed and go sleep with the other one. And then as they started to grow, one would talk for the other one. Or if one was mad or sad or something was going on, the other one had to express it. It had to be there. It's like a different type of support where they can truly feel each other and what's going on, and the other one cannot take it. It's like the other one is getting hit double or something. It is just bad. So when we see Shannon over there, and the boyfriend was saying, all of a sudden, you just started coming over here, you're bringing all that stuff over here, and blah blah blah. No, something, don't know what it is and what it could be. Something is eating and it's bothering, it's eating at her soul. And it's Neziah. It's getting to Shannon some way or another. If you look at the picture, look at the video, you look at the picture, when they first come in and Marc's pull up, okay, you said pull up on you and I'm here. They both are on the same side of that mattress on the floor, and they both got the phones on both sides. They both is doing the same, looking at. They both got the same image, the same thing, like a statue. They both is doing the same. And then at one point you see them, they look at each other. Then one get up. You follow their movements and the things that they're doing. So for the behavior pattern, I just want to say this, right? Shannon is not over there because, it's like this. I'm here for nobody don't do nothing to me, because if I go to, if I'm in the house with, my mama and the kids, I could be harmed. We know that that's not true, because you face the most danger when you walk up out the house and taking a chance of leaving your house to go way over here. Somebody can see you, end up hitting you in the head with a rock as you walk out the door or doing something to you. So you're in more danger to me walking up out the house. Now you're safer if you stay behind in the household and not go anywhere, but they have to be together. Shannon needs this support from her sister that only Marquita can give her. Nobody else can give it to her. It's on her, not her mom, not her kids, not Jarvis. This is a different type of bond. This is a different type of thing. And you truly would not understand this. You would have to be a twin to understand the deepness of this. It runs very deep. It's like it's another type of love or something that's brand new or something. It's crazy, but that's what that is. And she can't feel nothing without her sister. And even if Shannon is to the house stressing in the inside and not doing so great, not doing good, guess who feels it? The sister. She's gonna feel it. Marquita, she's gonna be the one to feel that and have to call her and say, hey, come here, you're doing good, and let me go over there. And she's gonna invite her over because she can feel it. It's nothing they could do about that. And that's just the honest truth to that part there. Okay? So I just wanted to get that part out. Now let's move along from that. Now we have to get into when we start easing and saying stuff, like we kind of like throw one thing in there and we're not throwing the other thing in. So we begin to okay, well, let me throw this in here. Let me throw that in there. Okay, now we're throwing this in, that in, and we're saying a little bit of this, a little bit of that, something we ain't said before. Okay, the part that got me was this pregnancy test. You said that she took it, but before the pregnancy test, nobody still didn't know, because one line was clear, the other line was faint. But it's funny how we can start remembering when it seemed like during when we was in court, it appeared to be nobody didn't really know that she was pregnant. It was like a shock to everyone, like, shoot, well, this is my first time finding out since you just said something like this, because we wouldn't have known anything. We wouldn't have known any of this. Are you serious? Oh my God, so she ended up being, oh my God, I didn't know that. And everybody was pretending as if they like I didn't know. So now we're not playing pretend no more. We're saying, and it seemed like since this picture came out, the picture where I was seeing the road race because the grandma said it, but I wasn't even looking at the characters. But someone did too say, like, no, this is a Nickelodeon type of jacket where it does have all the characters, the Rugrats, Hey Arnold, and some more people on it. But however, the Nickelodeon jacket and stuff, this is the jacket here where everybody is looking like, okay, wait, hold on. Wait a minute, is that Natalia? No, she is pregnant. There's no way you can say you don't know this. This baby just as pregnant could be. She's pregnant. If I did not know, and being honest, if you did not know this case and you didn't know anything about this girl, even if you said, oh no, she's not pregnant, because it's not like you can really see the stomach. You really just see a fuller face, and then you see, her her breast or whatever is out there, like they're developed. And so if someone asked, okay, we're going to give you this, okay, how old do you think that this person is right here? Nobody would say, being honest, if you did not know Naziah in this case, nobody would say she's a 13, 14, 15-year-old. They probably would say, well, what, maybe 18, 19. She could be 18, 19, 20. I mean, from the picture, at least. At least that's what I'm thinking. But we don't have to turn things around. We already know about the case. So we know that Naziah is a skinny little thing. She's 13. That's just how she was. She's a really skinny little thing. And this picture here, she's not. Her face is fuller. Her breast is out, and they're developed. And it's like, come on. But all of a sudden, Shannon recall and can remember that she did do a pregnancy test. Okay, now it's coming back to me. She did a pregnancy test, and one line was clear. The other one was a little faint. So that's, okay, so I'm remembering that. Shannon. This also confirms the reason why you can sit there and say, okay, so she's probably out there just effing, or she's this and that, because in your mind, you know exactly what didn't happen. Now, I'm not going to place this blame on you just because Jarvis mentioned the whole antifreeze, okay? And he also was telling lies to everybody that he came in contact with. Like he was just around her like this was his girlfriend. And I'm starting to think in my mind, in my head, did you really want her to be maybe your girlfriend? Because she's hanging out at the shop more. But your daughter is not there. She's hanging around the shop more. Your daughter is not there, though. Y'all is here and there together to the point where she's saying, okay, so we're going to cuddle. You can't cuddle for 5 or 10 minutes. You can't cuddle in the basement. You cannot cuddle, like cuddling is minutes. The things that she was saying to you is the things that every woman at some point, a time in her life that's mature enough, that should be mature enough, would want from a guy. And that is, okay, let's cuddle. I really need to talk to you. I need to be, with you. It's something going on. I need you, what I'm saying? I'm stressed out. I need you to help me out with this. Or, oh, shoot, I'm ready to go do this, blah, blah, blah. Okay. If nobody knew Naziah and what was going on, what we all would do? If we were just to look at that, we would think that these was conversations from 2 adults. And we'll keep it like that. Yeah, this is coming from two adults. This is not from a child, and this is not just from Jarvis. It's not. And the thing is, you said that, but you didn't know this, and y'all talking. Then you hear Roxy saying something about something is being, okay, well, this is scripted. What is going on? And then the boyfriend. And we have to watch this, guys, and we can't include certain things and certain energies and certain things in the mix to see, because we know, okay, this is a worldwide situation that has went viral, because we know, number one, it's not right that a grown man was having these type of conversations with a baby that should have never ever happened, okay, in the first place. It's not right that the grandma got the freaking chain on the refrigerator. It's not right that Shannon is trying to pretend like the friend said something in okay, so let's just leave it be, as if Naziah is 25. Okay? It's these certain things that this is not right. It's not right for us to be sitting up here putting this put on like we're one set of people, but really we're not. We're trying to tell the courtroom, and for these people to consider us as good people, we said before they get ready to, to get up and get everybody else up, before they walk out the door. One thing I do believe in, I believe that we all should, I let them pray so they can have a good day in school. Okay, so no harm can come against them. So blah blah blah. But honey, if you meant it, and you felt it, and you was that type of woman and grandma, Naziah still would have been here, because you know what you would have done? You know what you would have did? What an adult would do that care about their child, their relative. You know what a good one would do? 3:30, they would have been out looking for their baby. 4:00, they would have been out. By 5:00, the police is involved. By 6:00, you are boo-hoo crying, because you know that this world it's not a safe place. We know that there's trafficking. We know that things is going on. And we see this too much. But I'm praying to a God, but I'm not believing him for anything, because I'm not even getting up. I'm not praying. Child, y'all don't see me sitting up here praying and just in shackles and crying and snot dripping out my nose along with the flyers, and I'm doing something. There's certain things we can't play pretend with. Nobody had the sense enough to do that. Shannon's taking a so-called friend advice. She's taking that friend advice, which that's not a friend at all. No friend would do that. Listen, I want to say something, and I have to be so honest. I wasn't even 13 years old. I think I was 15. Yeah, I was 15. I was 15 years old in the 9th grade, and I never will forget this. Me and my best friend, rest in peace to her. I just lost my best friend in freaking 2022. But me and my best friend at the time, so how the school was, we can just, of course, the high schools, if you got a car, you can leave for your lunch. And out of all the days that I've ever skipped, that I ever did anything, didn't get caught, and it was just so free, thank God for saving me from that. Out of any time, this particular day, that I'm actually not skipping, that I'm on my best behavior that I can possibly be on, right? Because my mama had already told me, Cynthia, listen, I'm going to tell you something. You get into something one more time, and that's your behind. Okay? And I knew she meant that. Okay? My mom was very firm and strict, but also loved me to death, and I knew whatever she said, she was going to live up to it. She always let her yeses be her yeses and her no's was her no. She never cross-contaminated none of that stuff. Never was a switcheroo. And so I knew, anyways, me and my best friend, it was around lunchtime, so we're just talking, and we decided to walk outside of the gate from out the high school, and we're like in front of the school, but in the corner. Like in the corner of the school, when you would have to, like, I guess, drive up to the school, but we're still on the school premises, right? And for whatever reason, the police came and was like, oh, what y'all doing is you're skipping, you're doing something, getting this. Comes like, no, we're just here for our lunch. And I believe we was just sitting out there, and I think lunch probably was over, and we still was just out there talking, y'all. Like, we ain't had nowhere to go. And so the police ended up taking us, and we had to go to this juvenile center, detention center, where all the kids be skipping, and you gotta wait. And they're gonna go and take you home way at 6 o'clock. They're gonna drive you home at 6. In my mind, I say this cannot work. This bus come. I'm supposed to be home by 2:45. Okay, 2:45. The school get out at 2:30. I'm supposed to be home at 2:45. I ride the bus. There's no way I'm gonna do this. This was the last straw that broke the camel's back, and I'm gonna get in so much trouble. This lady's gonna beat me like there's no other. Take my phone and be on punishment. So much of stuff is gonna happen to me, all because of this. Child, listen, let me tell you, we went there. All I can think about is not going home, because I know I was gonna get in trouble. And so what we had to do, we had to call, and whoever the person was that was working there, they were going to drop everybody off to their location as long as an adult was there to sign. So I knew I did not call my mom. So I had, like, I guess one of the girls that we knew, her people was just really cool and wouldn't care, because, you know, this is something she was doing all the time. And so they wouldn't care. So they was going to basically sign off like we can get dropped off to their house, and that was going to be it. Child, by the time I got dropped off to their friend's house, okay, I didn't call my little boyfriend, and thank God he had a car and stuff, and thank God that at the time the boyfriend that I did to have had something for me, because I would have been out there wandering around in this cold dark world that it was that we live in. And you know, and he ended up coming to get me. He was with me that whole entire night. And I believe like the next day, even though I ended up calling home, because I had my own phone line, I called home. But my sister picked up the phone, and I was like, don't tell mama, you know, where I'm at, but I'm good. My mom and dad and family had went through the worst, the very worst, to where by the time I called my sister back, I knew she wasn't going to say anything. But she was like, no, saying you have to, and this was my baby sister, and she was like, no, so you have to come back, because mommy and daddy, they crying, the police then came, they out, they looking. My brother had punched a hole inside the goddamn wall, and you know, emotions was everywhere. One of my sisters was, you know, throwing up, getting sick, nerves bad. My family was in a wreck, okay? So the next day, about 11, probably about 10, 11, I did too end up going home. And, of course, my dad jumped over the car, tried to kill my boyfriend at the time, but that was okay. But he brought me back home, and, you know, it wasn't his fault, because it was all on me. But I looked at that. I'm saying I was to say that I looked at that, and I was just, the way that my parents act, in the way that Shannon and her freaking grandma act, with the not caring spirit, as if it's something of the norm, as if, okay, that's you. You could be out there. That's not the act of a parent. Heck, I don't care if my child was pregnant. I don't care what you was doing. I don't care if a man did not. I wouldn't give a Sam Hill if the man was, if he didn't groom you. If this was all on your account, I can care 2 cents. Once you are missing, you have no other choice but to think the worst. Your baby, your child is out there in the world, okay? Somebody then took them. This is the only thing you could think about. And you can only hope and pray that you can get to them before something bad happens, or that the police is with you and confine you or do something. Nobody is waiting until the next day as if you have a grown child, like the age of freaking 20, 21. So you're like, what's yours? 2 o'clock in the morning. They ain't make it yet. Let me go back, lay back down. They ain't come home yet. Okay, maybe that's okay. That's the norm, because they can come in and do whatever. Maybe you just thinking that they ain't, hey, it's 2. They just didn't make it home yet. So you end up laying back down. Okay, fine. But you don't sit there the following day and know that they never made it back home, and you still don't go and search. Even with someone that's 20, you know their behaviors. And I hate to say this, all this crap is going on because everybody is trying to cover up the things that they have done. The freaking boyfriend is saying whatever, but I feel like this. Don't add anything to this in this picture, because everybody's already trying to get to them. Don't add stuff. Say for yourself something that you did to say that you are, you know what I'm saying? You're thinking about yourself, and your life could be in danger just because people think that you're connected to her and they end up doing something to you. And that's really is the size of that freaking hurricane. It's that there. You know it. So let's not add things like, okay, you was peeping this and you was asking this, and this was a little bit funny to me, and I was seeing XYZ. None of that stuff have anything. Like, honestly, none of that stuff I can say you cared about. Your concern is Shannon coming over there and drawing the attention to you into this house. And yes, that is something serious, because people are looking and people want to know where the heck she's at, and people feel like you already got something to do with it. How could y'all just sit up here and let this baby go? And I understand all that, but don't add 2 cents that you kind of, if you peep game, you ain't care about it. Let's not just be talking to say stuff. And I don't really know what to say. But I just feel like Shannon, I can't say that she's innocent, because she's not at all. But I also can't say that, yes, she did this. And the reason why we can't listen to this whole thing get wrapped up about this whole Jarvis situation, we cannot do this, guys, because Jarvis wanted to make sure his truck wasn't being used. And he do have a working truck. Now we know he has his Escalade. Sister done said it. He has this truck. Okay. So he do have the truck. He wasn't worrying about that. He called his fiance up. Hey, they didn't get the call. It was a reason for that. You ain't been picking up Nazaria before in that car. What you starting now for? You knew what you was gonna do. If anything, I believe that Shannon maybe got into a fight with her. She got into this fight with her really bad. Okay. And her getting into this fight with Shannon, a whole bunch of stuff popped up after Shannon didn't let her emotions run wild. And from there, Shannon could have called, could have texted, could have just left, could have did anything. And Jarvis, he knows now. There's nothing I could do to back this situation up. I already got to try to go to court for this. I already been to jail for 10 years from doing something with a 4 and an 8-year-old. Now, if you know for yourself, with us women, when we mad, we do not care what all we put on the table until at that moment because we're so pissed off. Shannon could have called him and said, "Oh yeah, I know that you was messing with her. Now she, pregnant, but it's from you, blah, blah, blah. Y'all done did blah, blah, blah. And you may go to jail, blah," and just did all this crazy talking or whatever. Who knows? And she just was in fear and said, "Okay, let me just get inside you. We have to do something about this. Because there's no way. I'm not going to go. Because this here will most definitely make me go back to jail. Not be there for a while if they see. It can't be. It can't." The grandma had to know something, whether they was fighting. So I just want to know, guys, and I would love to ask the grandma herself, like, you being a grandma, you supposed to have a little bit of sense. What made you decide that, no, you know what, I'm going to look for her when I get ready tomorrow? Like, why was that? Why did you feel so comfortable in doing that? Why did Shannon feel so comfortable being a grown woman, listening to you, and doing that as well? But to cover the tracks, suppose we just go up here on Facebook and just mention something, and that's all I'm doing is mentioning it, and that's it. So then that way, at least it seems like we care, because regardless of what goes on, we are responsible for a 13-year-old. So let's just pretend, get on Facebook and kind of pretend, hey, the Nazaria is this, and I did speak to this friend, blah blah blah, knowing good and time well, I don't know a friend that's gonna tell on their friend in that way and say she's out there doing stuff, having sex, and she's happy, unless they're slow. I have not. And that ain't got to be no best friend. Just a freaking friend, an associate, or somebody. I don't see a child telling a grown-up that at all, that's what a child is doing. So in other words, just don't worry yourself. Don't involve yourself. Lay down, go to sleep. She's in good hands, because this is what she do anyway. She's out there. She's doing things with other people. So don't worry about that, because she's a grown woman. Okay? Y'all is guilty as sin. Shannon, you need to say what you know, honey. You're gonna probably get some time because y'all neglected her, but say what you know, because obviously you do know something, okay? And it's bothering you. And when things start bothering our spirit, where we cannot get away from it, you might as well go head on and release it. That's the only way you're gonna feel good about this situation that's going on. I don't know how you can sleep knowing a 13-year-old, okay? 13. A whole 13-year-old did something with your supposedly man. 13, and she's freaking pregnant. And nothing moves you to going, seeing about this baby, just alone from her being pregnant, should be enough for you. It really should be. But I mean, I don't know if I'm losing half of my mind. I don't know what's going on. But you need to get it together. When your soul can't rest at night and things is eating you up in the inside, and your sister can't rest because you can't rest, and the only one that seems like they're okay with this situation, because we ain't seen the grandma, is the grandma. Y'all gonna have to get it together. It really is. And we're gonna have to be more honest in what's going on. And we're gonna have to cut these goddamn lies out and stop. It's been a year. If you're this cold, you need to go and be in jail. That's the bottom line of that apple. That's it. You need to be. Listen, guys, let us know what you think about this, because this situation have really got to everybody, and I don't know. I just don't know what to believe, and I don't know what Roxy meant with the script. Like, what? There's so many things that they said when they went over there that is like, what is going on? Anyways, let us know what you think about this. Make sure you have yourself the best day that you can possibly have, and we are out.